I just want to say, first of all, thank you guys for being here. All you guys are awesome. And so if you're here, you lead in some way or another, whether that's whatever, we're all in different fields. Some of us are on the worship team, some of us on the greet team, some of us are ushers. And so hopefully today, this can help you a little bit with Planning Center. That's really the biggest thing. As we grow as a church, and as when you're only 50 people, you can call up whoever you need or whatever and just say, hey, blah blah blah, why don't you just come to church and just do that, or we all grew up, or those of us that grew up in churches, you've got that one organ player that was there every single Sunday, and you knew she was going to be there, whether it was raining outside or whatever. Her name was Miss Greta, and so she was always there. And but as you grow and you get so many different people, so many different ways of life, and people have different work schedules and family schedules and vacations and all this stuff, it's super important to plan, to figure out who's going to play the organ on Sunday if Miss Greta's not going to be there, and so that's really why we're doing this, is just to help you guys have a better understanding of that, because it can be easy to get confused with this, and I have fiddled with it for a few years, and I think I've figured it out, and like me and Jennifer, we figure stuff out all the time. And so let's just jump in. So I've got these tips for you on your sheet. I did that all by myself, by the way. K-Meth did not help me. I did that on my own. I have number one, tip number one. So you can just look back on these. I just tried to make it 5 to make it super easy for you. Tip number 1, be flexible and open to learning new things. And then AKA, don't be a dinosaur. It doesn't matter your age. You can be a dinosaur. I feel like I'm a dinosaur sometimes. I was meeting with some of my little cousins this week, and they have terms and things that I just don't understand, and they had to explain them to me, and I was like, man, I'm old. We call that was Zoomer slang, not boomer, but Zoomer slang. See, Dylan probably knows what I'm talking about, but no, he doesn't even know, so he's a dinosaur. But all I'm saying is be flexible, Come into this, especially when you're planning, and it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to be like, I don't understand how any of this works, or whatever. It's easy to just be like, I just get overwhelmed and just give up. But that's what I'm trying to say. If you just jump into this and just be like, I'm going to be flexible here, and because the biggest thing is as our church grows, we have to be able to handle that, and that's one of the ways that we can handle this. And it actually helps with growth. It helps with our teams. Everyone knows when they're going to be there. Everybody knows, and I think if this is used correctly and the right way, it can be really effective. So tip number 2, let's jump to tip number 2, communicate with your team. This one is so big. If you guys, or I say this all the time, over communication is better than under communication. If you assume a lot of times that someone just knows something, or they just know how to use Planning Center, or even that they have the app, sometimes for your team, for people on your team, I wouldn't assume that they know how to use Planning Center. They may need you to show them how to use it. Like all the time, I have to help new members when they come to the worship team. Like, hey, this is the Planning Center app. This is how I communicate with you through this app. This is how when you're going to be on the schedule. So I go out of my way to talk to them about it, if that makes sense. So a couple of things too that go under communication. If you guys in your teams, whether you're a team captain or a team leader, or whatever you are, if you don't have a group me or a group text of some sort to also talk with your team, I think that's also really important with, if you want to be able to talk to them all at the same time. Planning Center has ways to do that, but it's like through email. But it actually, and if you want me to show you how to do this, I can show you this, but there's actually a way. Planning Center will put all your people in a group text for you, and you can just send a text to them right then. So we can talk about that too. But it's important that you're in communication with your team, not just expecting people just to show up, just because you send them a request or whatever. It's important to, throughout the week or throughout the month, whatever it works for you in your field, to just be talking with those people, because it's easy for people to kind of slip through the cracks or whatever if they're just getting emails, because some people don't check their emails, some people only check text, some, you know, and you kind of have to be flexible on that. So so another thing to think about when you're communicating with your teams is this is what I do with the worship team. There's a thing on, and can you see this? Oh yeah. Can you turn off these lights or some? Jonah's got it. Yes. So here you can see, let's see if I'll show you as if one of the good things that helps so much with planning, it's called blockouts. And if you see here, if you need to come closer or something, feel free to do that, like absolutely. But one of the good things that you can do or your team can do, and you can talk with your team about this, is add a blockout date. So like if you're going to be on vacation or I'm working that day or somebody on your team is working that day, they can literally go in and click a day and say, hey, I'm working, you know, that day, and don't schedule me. And so what that means is when you go into schedule, you'll actually see a little red thing there that says like, hey, they're unavailable for that day. So that's something to tell your teams. I do that once a month with them. Sam probably gets tired of all of my texts because I tell them like, hey guys, go in. What I did at the beginning of this month, or the beginning of summer, because it's vacation, I told everybody, I said, hey guys, go in, put in your vacations and all that, and so I know when you're going to be here for vacation, and I don't try to put you on a day that you're not going to be able to be there. You know, and for some of you, it's easier because you may only be on a certain Sunday of the month. Like you have a team the first Sunday of the month. I know the ushers kind of operate somewhat like that, and so that that would help too. You know, and then you might have to communicate with one of the other teams to get somebody scheduled or whatever. So that's a cool thing that we can talk about later, but. Another thing is too, I kind of let them know, hey everybody, I'm about to send out the requests on Planning Center. Make sure you guys look at those and respond to those for me if you can. You know, so that's another thing. So really, the biggest thing in that, what I'm talking about, is just over communication is better than under communication. Just let them know about those things as in Planning Center. So tip number three is lead your team in diligence. That's super important. I said that on purpose. You know, we set the tone for our team. So like if you don't put in the time and effort into leading, planning, and serving, neither will your team. You know, and we want to see our teams thrive, and we want to see them when we're serving, like on Sundays, people happy and have a joyful attitude with it. And planning really goes into that, and it's really helpful. You know, because I think we just see what happens on Sundays, but a lot of times it's what's behind the scenes that really helps. You know, like for example, the worship team getting all those schedules together. You know, it's 13, 14 people on a Sunday, you know, and we have multiple people that play the drums, play the bass, and play all the different instruments, and I communicate with all of them through Planning Center so they know, you know, I'm going to be on that Sunday, and then they don't have to worry about it or know when they're not going to be scheduled. So I kind of work with them month to month. So you guys set that tone. You set the tone. You know, if you lead with excellence and you lead with communication, your team is gonna do the same thing for you. So yeah. All right. So now tip number 4. This kind of takes us, before we get into tip number 4, I'm gonna just do like a little small tutorial. Not really a tutorial. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But I'm just gonna kind of walk you through Planning Center a little. And if you have, I want to ask this, but how many people have access to like a computer of some sort, like laptop or, okay, so most of us in here do. If you're able to, I don't even want to use the word if, but it's so much better on your laptop. I will show you that. Yes.
I would love to be your first witness on what he's saying. When I got handed Planning Center, it was on my phone. Here's how you do it. The person that I got it from, very knowledgeable on doing it on the phone. But he said, man, it takes up so much time. I think that's about the time that Donna told me that Dimitri used it and we did it. use it on the computer.
Yeah.
It cut it down to probably a quarter of the amount of time that I needed on it.
Yes.
I actually, that was all I was really wanting to say.
No,
when you
yeah.
brought that up. But it is so true. Don't
Yeah.
think, oh, well, it's convenient, I'll do it while, Maryland's in at, Hobby Lobby, I'll just sit out here and, schedule everybody.
Yes.
But it's just the laptop. When you see it and you can do it and you can,
And I'm talking to Larissa. Larissa's not here, but she's on the video camera. It's so much easier because I think Larissa's still doing it on her phone as well. But when you see this, like what he said, it's so much easier that way. So if you have access to one, I really recommend you trying to do it on the computer, and I will show you why. I was gonna say something right after Aaron finished, but I don't remember what it was. Okay, so, this is what I was gonna say. The phone, using the app on your phone is more for the people that are scheduled. But if you're a scheduler, or if you're scheduling people, it's actually better for you to do it on a computer if you have access to that. And if not, like, we'll work with you on that or whatever. And in all this, if you need me for anything, it's my job. This is what I do. Please contact me. Jennifer, like I said, me and Jennifer, there was things that I didn't know how to do that I learned how to do, and so please contact me. It does not bother me one bit, like at all. I would love to help with any of this. So, in all that, like, I want to just walk you through a little bit of how it does work on the computer. So if you have a computer, or you can see a computer, you can watch there, or you can watch up here. So like up here at the top, you'll see a couple of different categories. My schedule is of course, when you click on that, see, I'm scheduled a lot because I'm here all the time. So you can literally see all the Sundays, Wednesdays, and see, I actually have it planned all the way through June. See, like June 30th. So I already know, if I logged into Sam's and I did this same thing, you wouldn't see as many services because he's not scheduled as many services as me, but he would know all the way up until June, the last thing in June, when he's going to be scheduled, whether that's a Sunday or a Wednesday. And so this is on the phone as well, but when you click on my schedule, it takes you to a place like this. And see, they even have a block out date thing here. So for people your people that are on your team, it's easy for them to say, hey, I'm not gonna be here this week. And see, like, they can even email my leader right here. So when they click this, it'll literally email you if they wanted to, but I know we don't use email a lot around here. So the next thing is plans. So here, this is like where the services actually are, so when you get onto your laptop and you actually really want to get into the nitty gritty of your plans, or your services, go to plans, and you'll see here there's a couple of different categories. They're really called folders. There's the LTK folder, that stands for Love and Truth Kids, an acronym so many acronyms you need to learn. Main service is like for everything that happens in the main auditorium, or auditorium A. Special events or special things, mostly that's me doing most of the things on there. And then there's the youth folder as well here. So most of y'all, I know some of y'all are LTK, but I think most of the people in this room, the main service is where you want to go. And so, and like I said, this will look a lot different on your phone. I don't even think you have this ability on your phone, what I'm doing right now. So when you click on, so what I did was I went to plans, clicked on plans, and once you click on plans, you'll see this. And then you click on main service, because that's where you'll be. And then you can see all the services till the end of the year here. And so I have it literally till December 26th, which is the last Sunday of this year. So if you wanted to plan that far ahead, you really could. And sometimes I do. And so, for example, then this was this Sunday. So let's use this Sunday as an example. I clicked on that service, and you can see here, like, this is more for worship team, but like, you can see the songs here. Over here to the side, because I'm worship team, I only see people on the audio visual and people on the worship team. But let's see if I can switch this around, if I can see other teams for y'all. It may just show me, I guess it's just going to show me mine. But okay, now this is the thing Aaron was talking about. This is probably the most important part of this meeting, and I was just getting so quiet. This is the most important part of this meeting. When you click on a service like this, and I normally just click on, whatever the most recent services, there's this thing called a matrix. And what this does is for scheduling, it is literally the greatest thing in the world, and you'll understand why. So you'll see this here, it says previous plans and next plans. So previous plans will show you past services. So if I wanted to know the last 2 Sundays, I would click that, it'll show it up. If I just want to know the next 6 Sundays, so right there, it may be kind of small, you can see right there it says next 6 plans. So I'm going to click matrix so you guys can see this. Like I said, your phone cannot do this, but your computer can do this, and it's amazing. Like what Aaron said, it cuts your time down. I mean, it'll literally take you less than 5 minutes probably to schedule all your people. And so what you can see here now is I can see May 16th, May 23rd, May 30th, June 6th, June 13th, and June 20th, and June 27th. That is all the Sundays from now until the end of June. And so, you know, you can even see, like I've got in here, see today we honored the graduates. Next Sunday's Pentecost Sunday. The next Sunday after that is Memorial Day weekend, you know, and so I kind of try to keep up with all of those, and most of y'all, this doesn't matter to you, it does to the worship team, but like you can see the songs in there if you're on the worship team. But for most of y'all, down here in this area, so what I did was when you click on the matrix, it'll kind of show you up here, but as you scroll down, here you can see, like for example, greeters first service. So you can see on May 16th, all of the people that are scheduled, those were all the people that were scheduled today. And then next Sunday, here's all the people that will be scheduled next Sunday. You know, and so it makes it, and it's as easy as when you click on, you know, let's see right here where it says one person needed. When you click on that, it shows you people that have been in that position before. So it doesn't just show you random people, but these are people that have served as an indoor sign holder before. And maybe this needs to, you know, to be updated for the greeters, you know. And all of that can be changed. The names can be changed and all that. And normally that'll be me doing that. But so you can literally scroll through and see, this one's interesting. See, there's a not preferred. So Rebecca went in for this Sunday and said, I could be here, but I don't prefer to be here. You know, so you could see that. And it's really, so, but yeah, okay. So, and sorry, I know this is, I hope this isn't getting too extensive for you guys. I'm going to use the worship team for an example. So, it may be hard for you guys to see it. Like I said, if you need to get closer or whatever, feel free to. But right here, worship team, and like you can see everyone scheduled until June. This is just Sundays. And so like, this leads me to the next thing. It's actually your next tip, and we're almost finished, so just so you guys know. Your next tip is red, yellow, and green. This is very, very important. I'm going to do something too really quick. And a lot of this you can figure out by just fiddling with it. But up here at the right, I'm going to actually add in my Wednesday night services. You can do that as well. And for some of you that may not matter as much. For some of you it may, because I think maybe some of you guys just do Sundays or whatever. But see, look, now I can see Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday. So, but the biggest thing I wanted y'all to know is if you look just in general throughout this, you'll see some yellow ones, or you'll see some green ones, some green little squares, yellow squares with a question mark, and then red squares with an exclamation mark. Those are super important. And what that means is the yellow one means you've sent them a request to serve, but they have not responded to you. And so what that means is it's called pending. That's what that means. And so it means they haven't seen it, or they haven't looked at it yet, or they just haven't, or they have seen it and they haven't responded to you. That's what the yellow one means. The green one means I'm gonna, you know, yes, I'm gonna be there. You know, that's, and then the red one means I can't make it. You're gonna have to schedule somebody else. So I think when you look through when you get home and you try to do this on your computer when you're scheduling, when you get home, you should see, do you see how my services from Sunday, May 16th to May 30th are all green? You really want them for the next couple of services to be green. And so like if I go through and I see Nick Welch right here, and we're getting pretty close to that Sunday, I would say at least a week away from that Wednesday or that Sunday, I'm gonna message him and say, hey man, I sent you a request. Can you respond to that for me when you get a chance? And see, I just sent out my request, and some people have responded and some people haven't in my group. And so what I do is in our group me, I'm gonna go in and say, hey guys, go ahead and go in and check and see if, check your planning center requests, respond to those. And I tell them, just because I sent you a request does not mean you have to serve that day. If you can't, you're on family, that's totally, you're with family or whatever you're on vacation, that is totally fine. So there's no shame in declining a service. I actually would rather someone decline than leave it pending, because if you leave it pending, I don't know if you're gonna be there that day. And another thing is when it's green, and I communicate this with my team all the time, if you confirm a service, like you're telling Dimitri, you can count on me, I'm gonna be there, so I think that's something important to communicate to your teams, is when you confirm a planning center request, to let them know, you can count on me, I'm gonna be there. And to let them know too, when you leave it pending, I actually know, or I've heard some worship leaders that use this, or some church people, if they leave it pending up until the service, like, and they're right next to it, like Saturday, or whatever, they get close to it. I know people, they'll just take them off the schedule and put somebody else on schedule, and they don't, because sometimes it's like, it's tough to, it's tough, like, we need to know when you guys are gonna be here. And I'm telling you, I know this is a lot, but it really helps. And I know it can seem overwhelming, but the main thing about the computer is that you can see all the services at once. I think that's what, and what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go back to the main page when you first come into Planning Center. And so when you first log in, you're gonna see this. Remember, this is LTK, main service, special events, and youth. And what you'll do is, from those of you that do main service, click on main service. And then a lot of times what I do is, I just click on the next Sunday that's coming up. Let's say that. So I clicked on the next Sunday that's coming up, and then right up here, you'll see the word matrix. And that's where, let's say I wanted to see 2 Sundays previous as well. So what I did was, I'm gonna do 2 Sundays previous to it, and then 6 Sundays forward. So then I just click it, and then you should see, it'll take a minute to load. And then that's how you get to the matrix. And so it just, like I said, it takes a minute to load. And then see, May 2nd was 2 Sundays ago. May 9th was 1 Sunday ago. And then see, so now I can see people that were scheduled back then as well. So you can know, oh, I scheduled them 2 weeks ago, or I scheduled them a week ago. So let's look through some of the other like cafe. See, cafe people can come in here, see they have somebody that canceled, and see she replaced Tammy Hollins with Lindsay Hollins there. So somebody had canceled, and she went ahead, and same thing here. Kinsey canceled, so she put Sandra in. And so what I like to do is, if somebody's, if somebody canceled and they're still a block out right there, what I do is I just take them off, because I already know Sandra's gonna be there now. And so, like I said, and see, Dina's list is looking really good. Like, there's a lot of green, and there's a couple of red ones here, but Lindsay's right there. So let's say, I'm gonna use K-Beth as an example. So let's say K-Beth comes in and declines that service. So look, I guess because I have the control or whatever that lets me do that. I don't know if everybody else can do that, but I just made K-Beth decline my service on May 16th. And so what I'm gonna do is, and you'll see down here at the bottom, it says 1 person needed. So somebody declined, so I'm gonna click that, and this shows me a list of all my vocals. So I can see K-Beth declined, there's the red thing. Courtney is already scheduled, that's why you see a yellow mark there. And if you look over here to the side, it actually will show you she's already on the vocals, and so my mom was already scheduled. But see, all these other people that have nothing next to it, like Bailey or whoever, I could click on them. Let's say I'm gonna put Bailey in. So I click Bailey, and then it puts a little like mailbox right there for her. And so, and then when you do that to all your services up here at the top, again, it's really small. I hope you guys can see that. Up here at the top, it says email these people. And then when you get all your people, the little mailboxes in there, and we press next, then you'll see I have some other planning center requests that I haven't sent out. And so see, Bailey's in there. And so when I click send, it sends all those requests to those people. And it sends them all at the same time. So like, sorry, I know this may be a lot for everybody. I'm gonna just pick 1 Sunday in July, really fast. So I'm gonna do this really quick. So when you when you have a service right here, like that are, it's just one person, or I mean, I'm sorry, that you have needed people here. So like I'm gonna put Juice here on bass. I'm gonna put Brad on drums, and you could do this for your same people, if you're greeters or whatever team that you do, whatever position they need to be in. I'm just using, see, this is a good example. Bella, for this Sunday, she has that date blocked out. Maybe they're on vacation or something. So I'm not gonna add Bella there because she's not gonna be there. So I'm gonna add EC. And then I'll just do me. So then there's me. So let's say I got everybody on my service that I want. And then come up here to email these people. And then and then you can literally click greeters, security, ushers, whatever team that you want, and then press next. And then there's all the people that I just added. See, Bailey's still on there because I haven't sent her that message yet. And when I press send, it's going to send them that message to get all. Okay, so that's a lot. Any questions right now before we keep going? I know it's a lot. If you're just overwhelmed, that's okay, I guess. I feel like everyone's so intense right now.
That email icon that was next to the name, does that mean you need to send an email to them?
Yes, so if you see that icon next to them, it means they have not been sent that request yet. And so you have to go up to the top here and press email these people. And what I can do too is, if you guys have trouble getting to the matrix, I can actually do a little video and maybe send it to y'all, and then you can see it on your own. Like I'll send it to an email to those of us that want, if you have problems getting to it. Because once you get to the matrix, I think, and I'm not talking about, like the matrix, like, you know what I'm talking about? Not that matrix. But once you get to the matrix, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think you guys will get it. So like, let's say I'm doing ERT, which is gonna be happening again really soon. And they need one leader. I'm gonna put Larissa in. Let's say Larissa's gonna be the leader, and then the member or the assistant, whoever that is, let's say it's gonna be Anna. And then bam, see, I just scheduled those two people, and look, I could do that for every Sunday that I need. And then I get them all filled up, and then email, and I want the ERT people. See, ERT is Emergency Response Team. And then, yeah, I heard you. And then bam, see, it's gonna send them a message. Press send. I'm not gonna do that because I don't know, I haven't talked to them about it. But if I was their team leader, I would just send it to them. So, any other questions? That was a good question, Sam. I paid him to ask that question. I'm just kidding, I didn't. I know it's a lot, but that's pretty much, I really think the main thing I wanted to tell you was to use this matrix on a computer. That's one of the biggest things. I mean, if you could take away anything, especially Larissa, because I think she still uses her phone, but I've told her 1,000 times to use it on a computer. It makes your life so much easier, and no matter what you're doing. And if you need any help, or if you just want to, if on a Sunday or on a Wednesday you're like, I still don't understand, I'll bring my laptop, and me and you can just, before or after service, we could sit down and I'll work with you on anything. I think that was on my notes too. Like I want to make that super clear that with any of this that you need help with, please let me know, because I would love to help with anything. But is there any other questions? There's got to be some. Yes.
On the greeters.
Yes.
I noticed that it says indoor and outdoor sign holders, since we're not doing.
It needs to be updated because that's no longer happening, correct?
Yeah.
So we will work on that, and I'll help, because that part gets really complicated, and I'll help. When we figure out what names we want to call stuff, we will fix that. So that was a good question. And so when that happens, sometimes our teams, evolve and change. Like for a while we were holding signs and stuff, and it made more sense. But now we probably need to call them something else. And I think we've just been getting by right now. But we need to call them greeter 1, greeter 2, greeter 3. I don't know. Whatever feels right. Me and Jennifer will work on that. Any other questions on that?
Yeah, write-ups for everybody today. No one had their mask on.
I identify as vaccinated.
So yeah, I didn't want to keep y'all long at all. I hope that wasn't too gruesome. I felt the intensity starting to rise when I got into the Matrix when we started. But other than that, the other things when it deals with adding people, like let's say you have a new person on your team, send me their name, their email, and their number, and I'll put it in there for you. It's easier that way. Or little things like that. But when it comes to scheduling, I really want you guys to learn how to do that, especially through the Matrix, because it makes it so easy, seriously. So, any other questions?
Do we still need the mobile carrier?
On your phone?
No, to add
Oh, it
For y'all to
depends
add
on,
them
it
in.
depends on the person. Like, some people, it won't send a mess, I think that's for text messaging, or like if
Okay.
that, or whatever. But, yeah, if you can get it from them, that would be great.
Okay.
So like if they're,
What is it?
so if they're AT&T, or if
The
they're,
mobile carrier.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know for LTK, if I get their mobile carrier and then I enable all of the text messaging alerts, they're getting the alerts and
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, so you need, and so all on these services as well, I actually have an automated, it's for anyone that's serving, it's an automated reminder that sends out to everyone. It's either comes through a text or an email. So if Aaron is on prayer team next Sunday, on Thursday or on Saturday, I don't remember, everyone gets a message either as a text or an email that says, hey, you're serving, so don't forget. But I also go in as a team leader, I will also text those people and say, hey guys, don't forget. For me, if you have something you need to tell that specific team, I just put them in a group text, and I'm like, hey guys, don't forget to listen to that song. I'll do that with them all the time. So I kind of double up sometimes, and then they never forget. Oh, are we doing a new song? Like I said, I over communicate. Sam's probably tired of it, but I keep picking on him. But.
Well, over communication is the key, actually.
Yeah.
To having a strong team and have everybody show up is making sure that we have the reminder set up. If your team you schedule yourself and you're not getting a reminder on that Saturday before, let us know and we'll make sure your team has that reminder set up.
And there are sometimes too where weird things happen on Planning Center. Like me and Jennifer deal with this sometimes. Like somebody's trying to schedule, we're trying to set up a new scheduler, and it's not letting them schedule. Let me know and we will figure that out. Like if you have any weird problems here, like I cannot get through this or whatever, just let me know and we'll work with you. So. And like I said, it's the best on the computer. Your phone should be like a secondary to this, because you can always, I do this all the time, like if I just want to know who's scheduled that day, I'll just pull out my phone, go to that service and see who's scheduled and make sure that I can see green. If I see any yellows, then I'm texting Sam like, hey dude, have you not responded? Why? Or I don't say why, I just say, hey man, sent you a request. Can you go in there and just respond to it for me? You can just be simple, polite, because you don't want to be like, I'm a dictator, I want to, but not really. But I think it's, you want to just be like, hey, just respond to it when you get a chance. That's what I do a lot of times, so.
When I first started scheduling on Planning Center, you had the best advice for me that.
I told you it was from heaven.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
You were
I don't remember what it was.
So it was similar to that. So if how you train your team. So I don't know if you guys have where everybody on your team is all green and everybody's responding. Is that working for you?
I'll show you what
it?
she's talking about. So yeah, like when you
so
go to the
while he's bringing
Matrix.
it up, I'll kind of tell you. So if everybody's green and everybody's responding and you know that they're gonna be there, then great, you don't need this advice. But however, we had a lot of yellows and nobody's responding. So I don't know if they're gonna be there or not.
Yes.
And sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't show up. So if you get your team, he told me the best advice how to, for the lack of a better word, condition your team to where they will respond. And one of that is, for about a month or so, it might take 2 months, is you need to text your team members that are yellow a message that says, hey, I sent you a scheduling request for this Sunday. Can you please decline or accept? Just so I know who's gonna be there. They'll get that and then they'll accept or decline. And now, when you go look at your team, you're like, oh, so-and-so can't be there, I need to schedule somebody else. But it takes you as the leader taking the time every week to say, hey, will you please accept or decline? And just let them know, hey, it really helps me. Even if you gotta decline, it really helps me out if you can just, to decline on there. That's how we communicate as a team with scheduling.
Yes.
A lot of times once people understand that they're not hurting their feelings by declining, they'll be more likely to do it and responding through you on that.
And that also, y'all were gonna let me skip tip number 5. What's wrong with you guys?
I was gonna remind you.
Thank you, thank
Sam,
you.
you
I'm just
remember.
kidding. So reminder, that made me think of this too. Reminders are your best friend. Like, I don't know how you guys do it, but I actually put reminders on my phone. Like, there's an app on my iPhone where I like, and you can do like a weekly reminder, you can do a monthly reminder. If sticky notes are better for you, you can just like stick them on your face. If you like, EC writes on his hand, hey Beth writes on her hand, whatever works for you. Cause I'm a very forgetful individual. And people think I'm intentional, but really all I do is put a reminder on my phone to do whatever I need to go do in the moment, you know? So like for Planning Center, what I do is I have a monthly reminder. It recurs every month on the 15th of that month. I know I need to schedule my team for the next month. So does that make sense? So like so Sam.
I was wondering why you send those texts out at the same time.
You know all the secrets now. So like on the 15th, right here. So this one, May 15th, I am already, and then I'm gonna be scheduling for June, if that makes sense. So May 15th, I'm gonna be scheduling for June. June 15th, I'm gonna be scheduling for July. July 15th, I'm gonna be scheduling for August. So halfway through one month, I'm already thinking about the next month. Some people can go further than that. It depends on your team, you know. So and some teams are different. It may be every 2 weeks. You know, you have to figure out. For a worship team, it works great doing a month at a time like that, because people get their work schedules around that. You know, people will know by the next month what their work schedule is and that sort of thing, or if they're going to be on vacation. I feel like that's sometimes. If you're trying to do next month for overachievers, sometimes if you try to do June on May 1st, some people don't know their schedules until later. So I've found that the 15th is a good time to start thinking about next month. You know, so just think about that. Again, put a reminder in your phone. And I have weekly reminders that's like, hey, text your team and remind them about service, because you would be no, I don't think you would be surprised. A worship team's different because like if you don't come to play drums, I mean, like we don't have drums today, you know, so most of the time they show up. But if you know, some people that are, I'm just waving at people, I'm just a greeter, it may be harder for them to remember sometimes. And if they come to church a lot, they're like, am I scheduled? You know, it's up to you as the leader to be like, hey, you're scheduled this day, blah blah blah. So any other questions? I don't want to keep you guys forever.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
There was something, you mentioned something about, there should be a couple of text messages that we send out, I think, every month. One is before you start scheduling, is text your team or call them and ask them, say, hey, do you have any walkout dates for the next month?
Yeah.
And help
Oh,
them
yeah.
learn how to
So-
block out the
Yes,
dates.
so I also do that around, I think I do that around the 12th or something. I have them all on my phone. I like I said, I don't know, but I will literally send a message, hey guys, block out your dates for next month. So this is before I start scheduling. So let's say the 10th of every month. I'm like, hey guys, block out your dates so I know when you're gonna be there, when you're not. Because some people work on Sundays. You know, there's that nowadays, that's a thing. It used to not be a thing. And so they may, like Jerry Warren was a good example of that. He would like, you know, they have like on 3 days, 2 off days, then they work for 2 days, and then they're on for 3 days. You know, and for someone with a schedule like that, you really have to work with them, and they have to work with you too, so that you know when they're going to be there, and they know, you know. So you have to personally work with those people, and it's easier when you have a small team. You know, like ushers, you guys know, I've got that. You know, you got your one small team, and you guys just work with them. You know, because when it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you're really starting to communicating with a lot of people. And if you're not, because there are certain messages that I send to everybody, and then there's certain ones that I individually will talk to people about, and you have to just figure out which ones. You know, like, hey guys, go block out your dates, send that to everybody. But if somebody hasn't responded to the planning center request in a long time, I will individually message them and say, hey guys, or hey so-and-so, can you go in and respond to that for me? So, again, like, this is just the once you get that matrix down, I'm telling you, I have a feeling you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, why did no one tell me? I think that's how Aaron was. Oh my gosh, why did no one tell me this at the start? And so that's how it was for me. When I discovered it, I was like, how do you exist without this? Because it's just great to be able to see everything in front of you. So any other questions? Because again, it's nap time. It's almost nap time. That's it. You guys don't want to stay here all day and talk about planning center? I'm just kidding. All right, well, can I pray over you guys? And I know it wasn't super spiritual, but we can make it spiritual. All right, let's pray. Holy Spirit, we thank you for today, God. We just thank you for the awesome services that we had. Thank you for all the guests that we had first service and the other services, and for the graduates today. And Lord, I just pray over these leaders that are here. And I know we were talking about something practical today, but God, I just pray that you would just show us the importance of planning and scheduling and everything that goes into making our church awesome. And it really comes through all this. And so, Lord, I just pray for those that are in this room, that God, they would be inspired to lead their teams more and to invest into their teams as they dive into Planning Center a little bit more, and Lord, that they wouldn't be afraid to ask questions when they need to, or to be flexible. And so, Lord, I just pray for everyone that's here too, that as they move forward, God, they would have an easy time understanding this. And God, we are just so thankful for them. And I just pray that you would be with us too this week, and even moving forward for our church and all the planning and everything that's happening. In Jesus' name. All right. Thank you so much.
I'm glad everybody got to see Dawn. I'm getting her purse and she's going home.
Now you can go take a nap.
I'll ask you something like that. This, of course, my laptop went out.
Oh, yeah.
I do everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see the difference. Look, this is June 13th. I work just
Yes, yes. So yeah, you have the second Sunday of every month.
Yeah, okay, that yellow, I mean, they have not.
They have not responded to you yet.
The only one ahead is Brenda.
So yeah, Brenda's the only one right now that says I'm going to be there.
Okay, and I think Lindsay told me this morning that she got a coach with.